Hello again, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, coming at you today with another video. This one is on the top 5 free agents that I think the Steelers should re-sign. We're currently on their roster this year. So these free agents are in a particular order. I start with the free agent that I think is the most important for the Steelers to re-sign, going all the way to number 5, which is the least prioritized free agent I think the Steelers should re-sign. As always, if you like this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Now let's get into it. The number 1 free agent I think the Steelers should re-sign this year is cornerback Cameron Sutton. And I think Cameron Sutton is so important for the Steelers to re-sign this year because he was arguably their number 1 cornerback last season. He also was drafted in the 3rd round 4 years ago, so he is a homegrown talent that the Steelers drafted and they developed. And as we all know, the Steelers love to draft and develop their talent and then re-sign them to long extensions. Cameron Sutton did a fantastic job playing in both zone and man-schemed coverage this year, and I really think the Steelers should do whatever it takes to bring him back this year because of the amount of turnovers that he was able to generate alongside Minkah Fitzpatrick. Thankfully, there have been some reports coming out of the Pittsburgh Steelers media that say that Cameron Sutton and the Steelers have mutual interest in coming to another long-term deal. So let's all cross our fingers and hope that gets done, because Cameron Sutton is that corner that was drafted and developed by the Steelers and kind of goes against that stigma that the Steelers do not know how to draft and develop cornerbacks. The second most important free agent I think the Steelers should re-sign this year is safety Terrell Edmunds. And Terrell Edmunds, he kind of gets a bad rap around Pittsburgh because unfortunately he was a first-round pick that quite hasn't lived up to a first-round pick's hype, but he has been just that solid, consistent player that the Steelers need, and he has gotten better over his last several seasons here in Pittsburgh. He is an excellent tackler, as you can see, and when we can get him around the box, you can see what kind of physical player he is, being shot out of the cannon on every play and being super aggressive in the run game. He has consistently gotten better in pass coverage and did a really good job this year matching up against larger tight ends and running backs as well. And he is kind of the yin to Minkah Fitzpatrick's yang. And if we can bring back the Monte KZ and keep that 3-headed monster on the backside of our defense, I think the Steelers secondary is in a really strong position to repeat and have the same kind of strong season that they had last year. So I definitely think that bringing back Terrell Edmunds on a reasonable contract is a must by the Steelers front office this year. Now, the third player I think the Pittsburgh Steelers should try to re-sign, who was on their roster last season, is defensive lineman Larry Ogonjobi. Now, he played relatively well on the defensive line last year. I thought he provided a good balance for the Steelers in both the run and the pass game. And the most important thing I think he brings is depth to that position. With Tyson Alualu retiring and Chris Wormley being a free agent, Adams was very inconsistent last year. DeMarvin Leal was a rookie who didn't play a lot between the tackles last year. With Cam Hayward aging, I just think bringing him back would add a lot of depth. And you can see from some of these highlights right here, he did a good job of getting to the quarterback in spurts. Now, I definitely think drafting a defensive lineman early in the draft this year is going to be very important for that position, but I definitely think bringing Ogonjobi on a reasonable contract back this year could help that rookie a little bit, get his feet wet a little bit, and just provide some much needed depth to the defensive line position. And I think he would help solidify the roster in that way. The next player that I think the Pittsburgh Steelers should try to re-sign that was on their roster last year is return man and wide receiver Steven Sims. I mean, flat out, dude's a playmaker. You watch him on special teams, and he really helped put the Steelers in some advantageous situations last season with his returning abilities. And you just watch him in the slot. He's got elite level speed. And last year, Calvin Austin was supposed to have that position, but due to an unfortunate injury and surgery, Steven Sims stepped in and filled in really, really well. I mean, during the Ravens game, you can see that clutch catch that he was able to have there that helped seal the game. And I mean, there was just a lot of uncertainty surrounding Calvin Austin this year. So I really think Steven Sims, with that speed aspect that he brings to the team that really no other receiver has out of the slot, I think he can bring a lot to the Steelers there. And then, I mean, you watch all these jet sweeps that he has. He's a real threat there. This year, hopefully the offensive line picks up where it left off last year. We maybe have an addition or two through free agency or the draft to help solidify that and to help out Najee and Warren again. And just having that jet sweep and having that option, I think he can be a real threat there for the Steelers. And he's a guy this defense really does have to worry about when he has the ball in his hands. He's just electric. He got better last year. So I think bringing him back this year is a must for the Steelers offense to help them pick up and hopefully build where they left off last season. Then the fifth and final person that I think the Pittsburgh Steelers should prioritize from their roster last season in free agency is fullback and special teams specialist Derek Watt. Derek, I mean, he's a really good blocker. I thought he helped out in the run game a lot last year, and he was extremely reliable on 4th and 1 situations. I don't think he missed a 4th down situation last year. And just having those core special teamers, the Steelers really, really value those. They value special teams, and he is that dude. So I think bringing him back on the cheap next year could be very, very valuable to the Steelers, having that veteran presence there. He's TJ's brother, and I think he embodies everything that the Pittsburgh Steelers as an organization value. So Derek Watt is my 5th and final player that I think the Pittsburgh Steelers should prioritize in free agent next season. Now, I'm not saying these are the only players the Steelers should sign or the only ones that they should try to bring back on their roster next season. I'm just saying personally, I think these are the 5 players that if the Pittsburgh Steelers had to pick 5 to try to bring back right away, I think these are the 5 that would bring the most and benefit the team most for next season. Reminder, please like and subscribe, and see you guys